Welcome to the Retirement Wealth Podcast. Today, we're diving into a really important topic that can bring you peace of mind, particularly when it comes to planning for your family's future.
Absolutely, Emily. Thinking about how to set up a will for your family might not be the most exciting topic, but it's crucial, right?
Right. It's one of those things that, if done properly, can really help ensure that your wishes are honored and your loved ones are taken care of.
Exactly. And, setting up a will is just one part of a larger retirement planning strategy. We'll also touch on things like trusts, beneficiary designations, and maybe even some common pitfalls to avoid.
Yeah, and it's all about making sure that when you do retire, you can enjoy it without the stress of wondering what will happen to your assets, right?
Exactly. And we want our listeners to feel empowered to make these decisions. So we'll break it down step by step and share some real-life examples that can make this process a bit clearer.
Sounds good. So let's jump right in and start with the basics of why a will is so important for retirement planning.
Emily, as we dive into why setting up a will is so crucial right now, it's really about understanding the landscape of retirement in today's world.
Absolutely, David. There's so much going on. With inflation being what it is, people are feeling that pinch more than ever, especially those who are retired or getting close to retirement.
Right, and that's where having a solid plan like a will becomes essential. It's not just about distributing your assets. It's about protecting your family during a time that can already be stressful enough.
Exactly. I've heard stories from retirees who thought they had everything figured out, but when they faced unexpected healthcare costs, it really turned their plans upside down.
Yes, and those healthcare costs can be staggering. Think about someone who might need long-term care. If they haven't planned for that, it could wipe out their savings.
Or leave their loved ones in a difficult position, trying to figure out what they would have wanted. It's that emotional side of financial security that is so important, isn't it?
It really is. I once had a couple, let's call them Tom and Lisa. They were in their early 60s, and they thought they had plenty of time to get their estate planning in order. But then, Lisa was diagnosed with a serious health condition.
Oh no, that must have been tough.
It was. They hadn't set up a will yet, and suddenly, they were thrust into this whirlwind of medical decisions and uncertainty. It highlighted how important it is to be prepared for the unexpected.
And that's not just about having the right documents in place. It's about peace of mind, knowing that your wishes are clear.
Exactly. It's a gift to your family, really. Think about it. If something were to happen to you, wouldn't you want your loved ones to know exactly what you wanted?
Definitely. And with the current economic trends like market volatility, it makes it even more pressing. People's retirement accounts can fluctuate so much, and without a plan, those ups and downs can create a lot of anxiety.
And let's not forget the changes in Social Security. Many folks are unsure about how those changes will impact their future. Having a will allows you to plan for these uncertainties more effectively.
Right, and when you look at it through the lens of legacy planning, it's about more than just money. It's about the values you want to pass down to your family.
Absolutely. I've seen people create trusts or include specific bequests in their wills that reflect their values. Like, I had a client who wanted to ensure his grandchildren had funds for college.
That's such a wonderful way to leave a legacy.
It is. And what's really encouraging is that it's never too late to start. Even if someone is in their late 60s or 70s, taking that step can really make a difference.
Yes, and with so many resources available now, like online will writing services, it's more accessible than ever.
Right. But I always remind people it's important to have a professional involved, especially if there are complexities like blended families or significant assets.
That makes total sense. You want to make sure everything is legally sound, right?
Exactly. And we're also seeing a lot of people concerned about tax efficiency. There are so many strategies around estate taxes and inheritance taxes that can be leveraged with a well-thought-out will.
For sure. It's about preserving as much wealth as possible for your loved ones.
And considering the current economic climate, that's more important than ever. People want to ensure that their hard-earned savings aren't diminished unnecessarily.
Plus, having a will can help avoid probate, which can be a lengthy and costly process.
Yes, and probate can be particularly challenging during times of market volatility. Families may not have the liquidity they need while waiting for the estate to settle.
That's a good point. It can create additional stress at a time when emotions are already running high.
Exactly. And let's not forget about the emotional side of things. Knowing that your family will be taken care of, that they won't have to worry about financial burdens.
It's such a relief. It allows them to grieve and celebrate your life without the added stress of sorting out finances.
Right, and that's why I encourage everyone to take action now. Don't wait until it's too late, you know?
Yes, the sooner you start, the better you can navigate these complexities.
And in the next segment, we'll dive into some core strategies for setting up a will that truly reflects your wishes. So, when it comes to setting up a will, one of the core strategies is really understanding your assets and how they can be distributed. It's not just about the money in your bank account, right?
Exactly. I mean, a will covers everything from your home to your investments, even personal belongings. And speaking of investments, how should someone think about their portfolio as they prepare their estate plans?
Well, a good rule of thumb is to have a balanced asset allocation. You know, something like a 70-30 portfolio, where 70% is in stocks and 30% in bonds. This can help manage risk while still allowing for growth, especially if you're still a few years away from retirement.
That makes sense. And what about tax-advantaged accounts, like IRAs or 401ks? How do they fit into all of this?
Great question. Those accounts are crucial because they offer tax benefits. For example, with a traditional IRA, you can potentially deduct contributions from your taxable income, which is great for reducing your overall tax burden. But when it comes to your will, you'll want to designate beneficiaries for those accounts. Otherwise, they might go through probate.
Ah, right. And I've heard about Roth IRAs too. They're a bit different, aren't they?
Yes, they are. With a Roth IRA, you pay taxes on your contributions up front, but your withdrawals in retirement are tax-free. This can be a huge advantage. When you're planning your estate, you might want to consider how to maximize those tax-free withdrawals for your heirs as well.
And how does real estate play into this? I mean, a lot of people have their homes as a significant part of their wealth.
Absolutely. Real estate can be a big asset, but it also comes with its own set of considerations. If you own your home outright, you'll want to make sure it's clear in your will who inherits it. And if you have investment properties, those can generate income, which can be incredibly valuable for your estate.
Right, so it's not just about who gets the property, but also how that property impacts the overall financial picture for the heirs.
Exactly. And, when we're talking about income generation, annuities can be another piece to consider. They can provide a steady income stream in retirement, which could be beneficial for your beneficiaries.
So if someone has an annuity, how does that work in terms of a will?
Well, similar to retirement accounts, you'll want to name a beneficiary on the annuity. That way, the funds don't go through probate. It's all about simplifying the process for your heirs.
Speaking of simplifying, let's touch on Social Security. How can that factor into someone's estate planning?
Social Security can provide a significant income source in retirement. For couples, it's often strategic to look at the timing of benefits. One partner might delay benefits to increase the survivor benefit for the other. It's something to factor in when considering overall financial security.
That's really smart. And when it comes to withdrawal strategies like the 4% rule, how does that fit into planning for your heirs?
The 4% rule is a guideline that suggests you can withdraw 4% of your retirement savings each year without running out of money. However, it's important to adjust based on your specific situation. You might want to think about your spending needs, market conditions, and even how much you wish to leave behind.
So it's not just a one-size-fits-all approach, right?
Exactly. Some people might adopt a bucket strategy, where they divide their assets into different buckets for short-term, medium-term, and long-term needs. This can provide both security and growth potential over time.
And that way you're not overly reliant on one investment type.
Right. Diversification is key. You want to spread your investments across various asset classes to reduce risk. Plus, you should regularly review your asset allocation as you age or as your financial situation changes.
Got it. So, as you plan your estate, updating your will alongside your financial portfolio is super important.
Yes! And don't forget about tax savings techniques. For instance, gifting strategies can help reduce the size of your estate and lower potential estate taxes.
So, like giving money or assets to family members before you pass away?
Exactly. There are annual gift tax exclusions, which allow you to gift a certain amount each year without incurring gift taxes. It can be a great way to transfer wealth while you're still alive.
That's really useful information. And it's not just about the money. It's about making sure your loved ones are taken care of.
Right, and as we discuss these strategies, it's important to keep in mind common pitfalls. Many people overlook these details, and it can lead to complications down the line.
Oh, absolutely. Like not updating your will after major life changes, right?
Yes, that's one of the biggest issues. Life changes like marriage, divorce, or the birth of a child can all impact your estate planning. It's essential to keep your will current to reflect those changes.
And I imagine failing to designate beneficiaries is another one.
Exactly. If you don't have designated beneficiaries on accounts, those assets might go through probate, which can be a long and costly process for your heirs.
Wow, there's definitely a lot to consider. It really emphasizes the importance of being proactive in estate planning.
Yes, and working with a financial advisor can help navigate these complexities and ensure that your wishes are honored.
So keeping everything organized and up to date is really the key takeaway here.
Absolutely. A well-structured estate plan can provide peace of mind, knowing that your family will be taken care of according to your wishes.
Well, that's a perfect way to wrap up this part of the conversation. Thank you, David, for sharing your insights today.
So, Emily, one common pitfall I see with clients is underestimating the impact of healthcare costs in retirement.
Oh, absolutely. That's a big one. Many people think Medicare will cover all their expenses, but there are so many gaps, right?
Exactly. A client of mine, let's call her Susan, thought her Medicare coverage would handle everything. But then, when she faced unexpected health issues, she found herself paying out of pocket for certain treatments.
That must have been stressful for her.
It really was. She hadn't budgeted for those additional costs, and it forced her to dip into her retirement savings much quicker than she anticipated. It's crucial to have a healthcare plan that includes a realistic estimate of those out-of-pocket expenses.
Right, and it's not just about the premiums. There are co-pays, deductibles.
Exactly. And don't forget about long-term care. Many people think they won't need it, but the reality is that a significant portion of retirees will require some form of long-term care.
And that can get really expensive, really fast.
Yes, it can. Another mistake I see is ignoring taxes when planning withdrawals from retirement accounts. A lot of folks think, hey, I've got $1 million in my 401k, so I'm set. But when they start withdrawing, they forget that taxes will take a chunk of that.
Oh, for sure. I once heard a story about a retiree who had to adjust their entire lifestyle because they didn't account for tax impacts on their withdrawals. They ended up in a higher tax bracket than expected.
Right, and that can be a real shock. It's important to strategize withdrawals in a tax-efficient way.
What would you suggest for someone who might be in that situation?
Well, a good approach is to consider a mix of taxable and tax-deferred accounts for withdrawals. That way, you can control the tax impact year by year.
Smart. What about the sequence of returns risk? I know that's a big topic these days.
Yes, it is. For retirees, the order in which you experience investment returns can significantly affect the longevity of your portfolio. If you face market downturns early in retirement, it can derail your plans.
I remember a case where a couple, let's call them the Johnsons, retired in 2008. They faced significant losses right after they retired, and it led to a major reevaluation of their financial strategy.
Exactly. They had to adjust their spending and reconsider their asset allocation. It was a tough lesson, but they learned the importance of having a diversified portfolio and a buffer of cash or safe investments for those early years.
Yeah, having that cushion can really make a difference. Speaking of which, I've also seen people claiming Social Security too early.
Oh, that's a classic mistake. Some retirees claim as soon as they can at age 62, without fully understanding the long-term implications.
Right. I know someone who did this and ended up regretting it. They didn't realize their benefit would be reduced by about 25% for life.
Exactly. Delaying benefits can really increase the monthly amount, especially if you can afford to wait. It's important to weigh the pros and cons based on individual circumstances.
So what are some red flags that listeners should watch out for regarding these kinds of mistakes?
Well, if someone is too focused on just one aspect of their plan, like maximizing Social Security without considering healthcare costs or taxes, that's a red flag.
And if they're relying solely on gut feelings or anecdotal advice from friends instead of working with a professional?
Absolutely. It's crucial to have a comprehensive plan that looks at all these factors holistically. Another sign is if they haven't reviewed their plan in several years. Market conditions change, and so do personal circumstances.
That makes sense. So how can someone recover from these pitfalls if they find themselves in that situation?
First, it's essential to reassess your financial situation and create a detailed plan moving forward. This might mean adjusting spending, rebalancing investments, or even delaying Social Security.
And seeking advice from a financial advisor who understands retirement planning can be invaluable, right?
Definitely. An advisor can help navigate the complexities and create a tailored strategy that considers all these factors.
And it's never too late to make adjustments, is it?
Not at all. Even small changes can have a significant impact over time. The key is to stay proactive and informed.
So keeping an eye on those common pitfalls and knowing how to address them can really empower retirees to take control of their financial future.
Exactly. And by being aware of these potential issues, individuals can avoid costly mistakes that could affect their retirement lifestyle.
Great insights, David. So what should our listeners do next?
I'd recommend they start by reviewing their current plans, looking for any of those red flags we discussed, and considering a consultation with a financial planner if they feel uncertain.
That sounds like a solid next step. Taking control of your retirement planning is really empowering.
Absolutely. And it can lead to a much more fulfilling and stress-free retirement.
Well, this has been such a helpful conversation. I know our listeners will appreciate these practical tips.
I hope so. It's all about setting the foundation for a secure and enjoyable retirement.
Definitely.
You know, Emily, once someone decides to set up a will, it can feel a bit overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. There are some immediate steps they can take right now.
Absolutely, David. I think the first step is really just to start that conversation. You can begin by talking to your spouse or family about your wishes. It might feel a bit daunting, but it's so important to get everyone on the same page, right?
Yes, and after that conversation, it's a good idea to gather all the necessary documents. You'll want to have things like your financial statements, property deeds, and anything else that outlines your assets. Having everything in one place makes it so much easier when you sit down to actually draft the will.
And speaking of drafting, there are plenty of tools available today that can help with that. Online services like LegalZoom or Rocket Lawyer offer templates that can guide you through the process. Have you used any of those, David?
I have, and they're quite user-friendly. But it's also a good idea to consult with an estate planning attorney, especially if your situation is a bit more complex. They can really help tailor your will to your specific needs.
Right, and don't forget about the tax implications. It might be helpful to check out some online calculators like those from Vanguard, Fidelity, or Schwab. They have retirement calculators that can give you a clearer picture of your overall financial situation.
Exactly. And if you want to take a deeper dive, the Social Security Administration's website is a treasure trove of information. It's a good resource for understanding benefits, which is essential for planning your estate.
That's a great point. And for those who prefer reading, there are some fantastic books out there on estate planning. The Complete Guide to Wills and Estates by Alexander A. Bove Jr. is a solid choice. It breaks things down in a really accessible way.
Oh, and I'd also recommend Estate Planning for Dummies. It sounds a bit cheeky, but it's super informative and covers all the basics without overwhelming you.
Podcasts can be great too. The Smart Estate Planning podcast has some really insightful episodes. They tackle a lot of common questions people have.
Right, and as you're gathering this information, think about setting small, achievable goals. Maybe start by reviewing your portfolio quarterly, or, running those retirement projections to see if you're on track.
That's a helpful habit. And even just dedicating a little bit of time each month can make a big difference. It's about making consistent progress, even if it's small steps.
Yeah, and it's never too late to improve your plan. Whether you're just starting or you've been at it for a while, every step counts.
Definitely. And don't forget about tax software too. Programs like TurboTax can be really useful for understanding how your estate might be taxed, which is crucial.
And if you're tech savvy, consider using financial planning apps like Personal Capital or Mint. They can help you track your net worth and manage your assets effectively.
Those are great suggestions. It really helps to have everything in one place so you can visualize your financial future better.
And remember, the goal here is to create a plan that reflects your values and priorities. It's about ensuring your family is taken care of after you're gone.
Exactly. So with all these tools and steps, anyone can start taking control of their estate planning today.
Right. And if you find yourself feeling stuck, reaching out to a financial advisor can also be a good move. They can provide personalized advice and help you navigate the complexities of your situation.
Such a good point. There's no one-size-fits-all approach, and having that support can really make a difference.
So those are some practical first steps. Now let's bring this all together. Well, Emily, as we wrap up our conversation, I think it's important to highlight some key takeaways about setting up a will for your family.
Absolutely, David. First off, making a will is really about clarity, right? It ensures your wishes are honored, and it can prevent a lot of confusion for your loved ones.
Exactly. And another point is that it's not just about distributing your assets. It's also about naming guardians for minor children, which is crucial for their future.
Yes, and let's not forget the importance of keeping it updated. Life changes, and your will should reflect that, like marriage, divorce, or having kids.
Right, and I think a third takeaway is understanding that having a will can actually save your family time and money down the line, avoiding potentially lengthy probate processes.
So true. And it's also about peace of mind, knowing that you've made plans for the ones you love most.
That's a great point, Emily. Building and protecting your retirement wealth isn't just about finances. It's about securing your family's future.
Exactly. And this is just one piece of the puzzle. The more prepared you are now, the smoother your retirement journey will be.
So, as we wrap things up here, we encourage our listeners to like, subscribe, and share your biggest takeaway or any questions you might have. It really helps us grow this community.
And if you know someone who's planning for retirement or is already in it, share this episode with them. It could really make a difference.
And next time, we'll dive into retirement planning for couples, which is a vital area, especially as so many couples have different approaches to finances.
That's going to be an engaging discussion. We'll explore how to align goals and strategies for a fulfilling retirement together.
So until then, take care of yourselves and each other.
Yes, thank you for joining us today. We'll see you next time.